Hi, my name is Emily Lanier. I did my project on Catherine the Great. She ruled Russia from 1762 to 1796. Catherine was born on May 2nd, 1729, but her birth name was actually Princess Sophie Frederick August. Her father was Christian August, and he was a minor German prince and a general in the Prussian army. Her mother was Joanna Elizabeth, and she did have some distant ties to the Russian royal Romanov family, but other than that, they weren't Russian. She would meet her husband, Peter III, at a young age, around 10 or so, and immediately she didn't really care for him. But he was the heir to the Russian throne, and it was important for Sophie to marry well. She always had a vision of being a queen and ruling over an empire. She would even later write in her journals that she was attracted to the crown of Russia much more than Peter. So Sophie would eventually convert to Lutheranism in the from Lutheranism to the Russian Orthodox faith in order to meet Peter. And her name would be changed to Katerina, and that's where we get Catherine. Peter would succeed his aunt, Tsarina Elizabeth Petrova, when she died in 1761. However, Peter was not really liked at court. He was known to be a heavy drinker, and one of his first acts as Tsar was to withdraw Russian troops from the 7 Years' War and then sign a peace treaty with Prussia, and both of those things made him lose favor. He is only Tsar for about 6 months before Catherine can gain enough favor from the Russian Guard and is able to overthrow him. This is a picture of Catherine. She's there on the balcony. It's kind of hard to see. And this is at the Winter Palace, and she's speaking to the troops, asking them to back her and protect her from her husband so that she can take control. She does become empress on September 22nd, 1762, and soon after, Peter will die from unusual circumstances, and some historians will say that he was murdered by some of Catherine's co-conspirators. So during Catherine's reign, Russia will go to war twice with the Ottoman Empire. The first time is in 1768. Turkey was demanding that Catherine abstain from interfering in Poland's affairs, and Catherine was demanding political rights for religious minorities in Poland, a country that was officially Catholic, and then they didn't want to give the rights to those minorities. So Russian troops were sent to Poland, and then there was an inciting incident at the border of the Polish, Ukraine, and Turkey border, and that's when Turkey decides to declare war with Russia. The war will last up until 1774, and it'll end with the Ottoman Empire being forced to sign the Treaty of Kukçak-Kanaji. This image is called the Allegory of Catherine the Great. The Allegory of Catherine the Great's Victory over the Turks, and it's by Torelli Stefano. And it was commissioned to glorify Russia's victory, and it even depicts Catherine as Minerva, the goddess Minerva. She's there right in the middle on the chariot. So that treaty would leave Crimea, it's the little red dot there on the map, with very little independence, and it would give Russia control over crucial ports in the peninsula. Prussia, Austria, and France would try to persuade Catherine for remediation, but she was determined to extend the Russian borders, and she would ultimately annex Crimea in 1783. They would fight again in 1787 to 1791, and this conflict would result in a second treaty, the Treaty of Jassy, and that treaty would solidify Russia's possession over Crimea and the northern Black Sea. Catherine was considered an enlightened ruler. She was greatly influenced by the Enlightenment movement. She believed in reason, supported science, education, cultural activities, and religious tolerance. She was one of the first people in Russia to be vaccinated for smallpox. She helped establish the Smolny Institute for Girls, which is pictured here. It is one of the first schools in Russia that would educate women. And not only did she feel that women should be educated, but she also established the Society for the Translation of Foreign Books that would translate books from French and German into Russian so that everybody would have an opportunity to learn, even if they did not know other languages. Catherine would ultimately rule for 34 years, and she would eventually die from a stroke at age 67. Her eldest son, Paul, who may or may not have been a legitimate son of Peter III, would succeed her. However, Catherine was unsure of his ability to rule, yet she was unable to change her successor before she passed away. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation. If you would like to look up any of the pictures, here are a list of the references. And I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day.